Welcome back to Community Crossroads. I'm here at the Cuero Junior High School with dyslexia therapist Stephanie Dickens. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you guys recently got a grant to help, better the learning experience here for students in Cuero, specifically with dyslexia. I know that the Cuero ISD Education Foundation just gave you guys a grant. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. So the grant was specifically for me to attend a training. It is the program is called Take Flight. It is a dyslexia program that was developed by the Scottish Rite Hospital, which is based in Dallas. It is a very high caliber, research-based training that really gives good explicit teaching, well, to the teachers, first of all, to be trained, which is what I did, but then we pass it on to the students. And we are basically in the 3 days that I had training before spring break, I learned kind of the purpose, how they developed their program, what their goals were, and then also they went through what I would need to be doing as the teacher to implement their program. So they went through each piece and taught us, the teachers who were in the virtual training, taught us, what to say, how to say it, how to best implement and be very direct, very explicit, very systematic in the instruction for dyslexia students, because the research behind it is that the more explicitly you teach a sound and letter correspondence, the better the students will learn it. Take Flight bases a lot of theirs on how these sounds are produced, so going along with the speech, going along with the phonological awareness, the phonemic awareness, and it teaches students how to focus on what their mouth is doing when they're presenting a sound, when they're saying it, when they're hearing it, how is it being formed, things like that. The program just has a lot of very explicit ways that we teach things to the students.
And so let's talk a little bit about the dyslexia students. What is dyslexia? Because I know there's a lot of misconceptions about what dyslexia is and how it impacts student learning.
So dyslexia is neurobiological in origin. So it's in the brain. It is nothing to do with your eyes. It is nothing to do with how you write something. Can those areas be affected? Yes. But it is where a student has trouble recognizing that sound to letter correspondence and putting it into practice with decoding words, reading one-syllable words, reading two-syllable words, then learning them enough to be fluent, to be accurate in their reading. So if you struggle with decoding, then you're having trouble paying attention because all of your effort is spent, all the time is spent on decoding, sounding out those words, therefore you're not comprehending. So comprehension can be affected as a secondary consequence. The thing that Take Flight does is they build in automatically from the first 5 or so lessons. They start automatically building in a fluency aspect where the students are seeing and hearing and saying the same words over and over. And so they're building that vocabulary, they're building that background knowledge for decoding and sounding out right off the bat, which makes this program very strong when you're looking at developing the decoding, the fluency, the automaticity, and then the comprehension. So it's a very explicit way of getting the students to progress through the program. And because it's research-based, you know that you're going to have a good outcome. And the Scottish Rite Hospital that developed this, when they developed this program, they focused a lot on what can we do to have the students retain their knowledge after they're done with the program. And so that's kind of what amazed me when I got to take the training last week is, wow, they didn't just consider what the students are doing in the program, they're considering it in the long run, what happens after they leave our program.
And before we take it back to the studio, I just want to know, what are some early signs of dyslexia? Like, how can parents help identify that their student or that their child has dyslexia for this school to better help them learn?
So one thing that we do at the school is we have measurements that the students are using, that the teachers give the students, so that we can see what their progress is. If the students are not making progress in phonemic awareness, which is the sound and letter correspondence, or phonological awareness, then that's where we start looking at them more in depth. If a parent has a history of dyslexia in their family. That's a factor also. It doesn't necessarily mean it will be a factor, but it is a genetic thing that does carry on. Reading to your child is always a great thing to help them, having them picture what they're reading or what they're listening to, even when you're reading, is always a good thing for parents to do.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on this grant, and best of luck to all the students here in Cuero and your teachings.
Thank you.
Yes, and for everyone back home, don't go anywhere because we go back to the studio to learn more about the annual Baby Day event.